Okay, I'll get to why that all was important. Well, we'll take it back to the 1900s. Alrighty. What happens is the Mexican Revolution War starts in 1910, and there's this General Pancho Villa, which you know this song. Well, anyways, he was fighting a war, and he was destroying a lot of land, taking a lot of property. Well, some of the property that he was taking and destroying was this man, William Hertz. He was a newspaper Mongol and owned a lot of newspaper press. He basically owned like the media in a sense. And he was getting mad because that man was losing a lot of money. And so what he did was like get angry about it, you know? And so he hit up this man named Harry Anslinger. Yes, Harry. He decided that because he was about to lose his job, the opium stuff just went down. Next task is to go against marijuana. He's actually the person who coined marijuana. Yeah, so him and William Hertz get together, start making their yellow journalism, publishing in the newspapers, saying, oh, you smoke marijuana? You're going to be a crazy man. You're going to freaking turn to a murderer. You're going to steal women. You're just propaganda. Oh, more propaganda. In like 1936, they came out with The Reefer Madness, which was a movie that depicted Black people and Mexicans raping women, or they smoking the joint and turning into murderers, and they pushed it. They very much pushed it to the point where in 1937 they get the Marijuana Tax Act, which is imposed an excess tax on the sale, possession, or transfer of hemp products, which criminalized marijuana. First person to get prosecuted under this act sold 2 joints, served 4 years. Yeah, and that was here in Denver, Colorado, surprisingly. And so we move on to like the 60s and 70s, and then we get this movement of hippies. And so and saying hippies will turn crazy and marijuana makes them this way. We had a lot of people being sent to jail for this minor offense. And once it was scheduled in the Schedule 1 area with LSD, heroin, and we're not in the disclaimer that it wasn't medically, it had no medical purposes, it gets worse. It just sends people into jail for small possessions of this drug. And it's terrible because, you know, families are broken apart, whatnot. So we start getting into a war on drugs with Nixon, and we get this Just Say No with Nancy Reagan, and the DARE program, which also tries to push marijuana as a bad thing. But again, DARE failed over and over again. People are still doing drugs, obviously. And so we start getting into like the 1990s, early 2000s, and whatnot. California passes their Amendment 64, which would give the right to medical marijuana use for those who needed it. Because guess what? Marijuana helps people have cancer, and it helps them with their side effects in their chemo treatment. And not only a THC, but the CBD products that come from marijuana are what's anti-inflammatory. Again, headaches, just nausea, anything that you can think of, because it's a medical plant. Okay, so here in Colorado, it's hey, you know what? Let's legalize it recreationally and medically. And in 2013, we passed our own Amendment 64, which gave the right to people to smoke marijuana legally. But this is the beautiful part, because we Tax Cash Fund Act, which is the fund of all the taxes that we get from the product of selling marijuana. This fund is to help our education system, our highways and roads, and now our programs like our harm reduction program, which up in Denver right now is being funded by this, and its lead, which is supposed to help with our opioid crisis that we're having right now. It's bringing the police and community together to help this, and it's beautiful, you know, like marijuana did this. But it goes back to like, that's not who we are, that's not what we're doing, it's none of that. That propaganda was heavily pushed, and so it's not there. And we've also seen a decrease in adolescent use. Like that's amazing. Like obviously legalizing it didn't cause, you know, madness, chaos to ensue. We don't see young children injecting it or snorting it, because can't. FYI, if you didn't know that, then I don't know what you know. But yeah, so that there was a very quick history lesson. Criminalization and decriminalization in some states of marijuana.